everybody, today I'm going to talk about my thoughts on Mickey Mouse entering the public domain. Now if you're new here, continue to start ringing the bell. So this is recent news, or a couple days ago, Mickey Mouse has officially entered the public domain. And it's kind of a little bit complicated, but it's kind of a specific version. I wanted to talk about this today. So yeah, let's get started. So there's been a lot of confusion on which version it is, and it only is the Steamboat Willie version for now. And this is big news because for the longest time, Disney has been so protective of Mickey Mouse and their brand for like copyright and stuff. But they had this thing called the Mickey Mouse the Production Act, or that's not the official name, but that's kind of what people called it. So basically extended the copyright for much longer than it was originally. So they can't do that anymore because Mickey Mouse is finally in the public domain. My thoughts on the Mickey Mouse character is, I think he's boring. Like, in the modern versions, I feel like he's just boring. And it's kind of weird because, like, I'm a pretty big fan of the Disney parks, but it's kind of funny because Mickey Mouse is probably one of my, like, I don't really care about him because he just really doesn't have that much of a character. But with the Steamboat Willie version, I feel like he has a lot more of a personality. And that's actually kind of cool that that version is going to be going into public domain, because I actually prefer the older versions of Mickey Mouse because he was a lot more mischievous. He had a lot more of a character. So it's just like, I am kind of excited that it's kind of in the public domain now. But there's been a couple like things that have already been like announced for this character, and one of them is, I think he's like the main character in like a shooter game or something like that. I don't know exactly what it's called. He's appeared to be scary in that version, but the one that people have been talking about is the horror movie that's going to be coming out, I don't know when, but soon, called The Mickey Mouse Trap. And basically, it's a horror movie involving Mickey Mouse. I know that public domain, like, you can do whatever what you want with the character, but like, I feel like it's just kind of stupid. Like, I feel like that's kind of the same thing when Winnie the Pooh and Piglet entered the public domain last year. Like, I mean, that movie was terrible, but it made a lot of profit because it was extremely cheap to make. And then they got like, I think it was like $5 million, which normally that would be pretty bad for a movie, but their budget was so low that it made them a profit. So Mickey Mouse is getting that same treatment. And my thoughts on it, like, I've seen the trailer, which I didn't want to see it for the longest time. It was an update video that I tried to release, but it was just too long for YouTube to upload it. It looks terrible, in my opinion. The mask looks so cheap. Like, I mean, at least with Winnie the Pooh, like, it looked a little bit more, I mean, it still didn't look great, but it looked a little bit more realistic to the character. But it just looks terrible. Like, the Mickey Mouse design for this horror movie looks terrible. Like, it literally looks like a Dollar Tree looking mask. I know that's kind of like what they do, where like they just have an extremely low budget, but at least make it look decent, because like, I mean, I know it's kind of a horror thriller. I think the reason why people make horror movies out of these characters is because they're so low budget, like they don't take very much money to make, and you don't really need a character or good characters like in that story, because like you could just kill them off. Like, it's kind of like Friday the 13th, some of those earlier movies. Because like, you really don't care about these characters, and like they're just used for like the kills and stuff. But I feel like that's gonna be kind of the case with this Mickey Mouse movie. I'm just excited to see what Disney's gonna do with this, or like how they're gonna react, because recently Disney has been taking a lot of L's. The movies have been flopping, the theme park attendance is going down, like, and the Disney Plus service has been going down in subscribers recently. I mean, there already were like really strict on the character Mickey Mouse, but I feel like if someone does anything slightly wrong compared to the public domain character, Disney will be on their ass and trying to sue them, because like, it's just like Disney's so protective of the character. So other than the horror movie, and a horror game, I'm actually excited to see what the people are going to do with it, because like, I mean, I just think the character of the Mickey Mouse from Steamboat Willie is a lot more interesting. Now, I know that some people like the character Mickey Mouse, but I actually compare him to Bugs Bunny because I feel like Bugs Bunny has a lot more of a character and personality.
I'll be with you in a second, folks, after I finish with Nature Boy here.
But it's just like Mickey Mouse has always been boring to me. Hopefully, like, people make him a little bit more interesting with the Steamboat Willie version. And I'm actually kind of excited to see the other public domain characters that will enter the public domain. Like, Donald Duck is entering it soon, or in the next few years. Pluto, I think, is entering it next year. And I actually heard that Tigger actually became public domain this year. Which is kind of funny because he was a little bit overshadowed about Mickey Mouse entering the public domain, which, yeah, I think he did enter it. So I'm just excited to see what people are going to do with all these public domain characters. I'm kind of glad the public domain exists, so they don't have a forever copyright, or the companies don't have them forever. So like, I feel like at some point, like, a lot of these characters are going to be kind of twisted into new things, because like for the Batman that's going to be public domain in 2035, I mean, I know he can't like do like the bat symbol and stuff, but like, that's going to be kind of interesting to see too, because all these superheroes in the next decade are going to be going into the public domain. It's just, I'm actually really interested to see what people are going to do with it. I mean, I know that I'm not a big fan of the horror movies and what people have been doing with Mickey Mouse. Not to say that it has to be squeaky clean or anything. It's just, I feel like making a horror movie out of Mickey Mouse is just such a cheap way to do it. So, yeah, so I'm actually really excited to see what people are going to do with these public domain characters, or characters entering the public domain in the next like 10 years or so, because I feel like companies, and especially Disney, is just so protective of the brand. I feel like Disney is mainly the culprit of that, but I feel like even like the other companies like Warner Brothers and a lot of those other companies, they're very protective of that. So I think the reason why people are kind of confused about it because of what version of Mickey Mouse it is, because I feel like people are going to mess it up accidentally and do like another version. So you don't have the modern version look, and you don't have the gloves for Mickey, which I actually like the Mickey without gloves a lot better. It's just like Steamboat Willie, I just like that character more. And I know he doesn't really fit the modern like age Mickey Mouse, like the character that Disney wants him to be. But like, I feel like back then he just had a lot more of a personality, even though he didn't really talk that much. So yeah, so overall, I hope that people actually make good stuff with this character, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with characters entering the public domain in the next few years. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry if this is a little bit shorter video, but I didn't really have much to say about Mickey Mouse entering the public domain itself, so I kind of wanted to talk about the public domain by itself and other things. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.